The Doctor is in, and that is Dr. Remy LeBeau, of course, in the X Layer. Once again, I'm here to share with you a very unique and personal piece, something that I actually put a lot of time into. A lot of my blood, sweat, and tears are in this statue, which is why you don't see any blood, sweat, or tears on me, because they all went into the statue. So this is a statue of Sebastian Shaw. I sculpted it about a year ago now. I'd say a little bit over a year ago. Um, it was my second attempt at sculpting. So having sort of developed like this addiction to X-Men statues, and you know, kind of always being on the lookout for every single character that I would like to have in my collection, and you know, kind of hitting some walls in that endeavor. I decided, okay, I need to sort of start doing this myself, like start trying to create some of these statues myself because, it's that's the only way I'm going to get on my collection, and B, it also will stop me from always kind of like trying to find the next one to buy. So I would actually save money by spending time like sculpting. So my first attempt was an Age of Apocalypse statue. It's like a really big piece that I wound up doing. It's got a big cape. It came out okay. It wasn't perfect. This was my second attempt. This was done about a year after that, and or about a year and a half after that. And this one came out a little better. It's by no means perfect, and I would never claim that it's perfect in any way. I would never try to claim that it's like of some like professional quality or even close to that. It isn't. What it is an amateur attempt at creating a statue that actually worked out okay. Um, I wanted to have a Sebastian Shaw statue in my Dark Phoenix display. I have the Bone Designs Gladiator, which is like a super awesome statue, which I'm going to feature pretty soon. It's like incredible. Looks great with like the Dark Phoenix, and I also have Emma Frost in there in her like classic costume where she has, basically her lingerie, underwear, and a corset, and like this cape with like this like a furry sort of collar. Um, just the classic Emma Frost from like that time period. When she was part of the Hellfire Club, and she was with Sebastian Shaw and Jason Weingard, Mastermind, Donald Pierce, and I think Leland Gaunt, if I'm not mistaken. And it was during this time that sort of that they've, I guess, hatched a plan to take control of the Phoenix power via Jean Grey, by having Mastermind create an illusion in her mind that she was like in the 17th century or 18th century, and he was her husband, and just controlling her in that way. Um, and so they take down the X-Men, and Wolverine escapes, but then Wolverine comes back, and fights the Hellfire Club by himself, like Wolverine alone. It's like a classic X-Men story and a classic X-Men sort of series of panels. And Sebastian Shaw, for some reason, takes off his shirt when he's going to battle, when he's about to engage in this battle, or maybe he was like doing some sort of martial arts training before, and he like takes off his robe just to kind of show his strength or something. I don't know, but he winds up looking like this, like in a moment right before Jean finally kind of breaks and turns into the Dark Phoenix. So it's like a crucial moment in like that saga, which is like a crucial central story of the X-Men. So it just made sense to me that I would want to create a Sebastian Shaw statue in general in order to have him in that display, and B, have him in this particular version of him in order to capture like those moments that were so key and central to the unfolding of that amazing storyline that is just classic and awesome. Um, so that's why I chose to do this statue. I noticed that other people that had done like custom action figures had actually done this exact sort of look, like with him and these like tight green tights, and like the yellow sash, and like the big white socks, and like the pilgrim shoes. Obviously, Sebastian Shaw likes pilgrims quite a bit. there's something about the pilgrim culture that that appeals to him. But actually, no, it's like the Hellfire Club. It's like very New England, like, and it's sort of like a throwback to like sort of more aristocratic era and maybe like British in times. I don't know exactly what the story is behind all that, but the point is that he does wind up donning like this sort of outfit, and I wanted this outfit in my collection, and so this is what I chose to make. Um, so I had like 10 days to do it. I gave myself 10 days. I had like a spring break, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna spend my spring break like making a statue of Sebastian Shaw, and uh, that's not enough time to make a great statue. So you'll notice that there's just a lot of stuff on it that's kind of exaggerated and maybe should be toned down a bit. Like as far as the physique, like right here, you're looking at the big the big bubble butt. Like that obviously should have been toned down a bit. And just on the reverse side, you can see like a big old crotch there, which should probably have been sculpted down a bit as well. And then like the arms are kind of the shoulders are kind of big. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of elements to this statue that aren't exactly as they should be. If I had been given the chance to actually take the amount of time necessary in order to perfect it. The face is okay, but like I could have done a better job on it. But again, I was kind of rushing it. Um, it was around day 8, out of like 10 days that I realized, man, I am not really done, but I need to start, getting the statue cooked and then so I can get it painted because uh, I wanted to get it out of the way before school started. I'm currently in a program, in a PhD program, and it takes up a lot of time. So I didn't want this to become a diversion, when school was actually on. So I wanted to get it done, and so I kind of rushed it. I kind of left some stuff undone, and then I cooked it and I painted it. And in the cooking process, I had some setbacks as well, where I cooked him and then he like fell over and cracked at the point where his shoes meet his socks. Like he fell over, and then I had to do a little fixing of the sculpt, and then I had to kind of prop him up against the oven, like the side of the oven, so you can see there's like you might be able to see it. There's like a dent in his butt, which I never fixed. Um, so I mean, I mean, as an amateur, not completely knowing what I'm doing, I made some mistakes, and it happens. It's a learning process. I plan to do more of these in the future. They're very time consuming, and it's actually a very nice and peaceful process to sculpt. But it's like you need to actually have the time to take the time, and I don't have that right now. And in the future, when I do have it, I'm going to take quite a bit of time to get better at this because although I have all these great statues and I love them, there's always like those statues that you want desperately, to include in the collection. Like I would love like I really liked AVX. I know a lot of people didn't love it, but I would really love like a Cyclops Phoenix statue, and maybe even like the Phoenix 5. That would be awesome to have all 5 of them in statue form. That would be ambitious of me and very difficult, but it would be cool if I could actually kind of try to pull it off and maybe even pull it off. That'd be nice. But that's like future stuff. Um, as far as like this statue goes, some of the choices I made beyond just the sculpt, like I so the base is like this wooden generic base that you can get like online. I guess for people that make statues just as a hobby. And then I glued him to the base because I didn't want to deal with a peg or anything. So you can see, it's a pretty well connected to the base of the statue. So it's not coming off, which is good for me because this was already an unstable sort of final product, and I didn't want to create instability by having it easily removed from the base. And then on the base, I also sculpted the Hellfire Club symbol. Oh, I didn't sculpt it. I just kind of drew it in and painted it, which is a symbol that's very similar to the one that's on Emma Frost's base, the Bone Design statue that was released of her. So, I wanted to kind of tie it into her. As far as that particular element is sort of established that they are Hellfire Club members. They do represent that very important factor in the Dark Phoenix saga. In order for the display itself to kind of be unified and have more links to the actual story. Um, and then beyond that, like this sash, I made kind of metallic yellow. I thought that was a good choice for a sash. If somebody's wearing a sash, it should kind of be shiny, maybe. I don't know, like silky. Um, and then his very awesome green tights, which I'm sure everybody's a big fan of. I know I am. I made kind of like a metallic, but not really green, like lime green. I thought it fit well. And then I used the same color for like the bow in his hair. The excellent bow that if I had hair, I would definitely use a bow like that to tie a ponytail on my head because, man, is it stylish. this guy, this guy's a fashion. He's on the front lines of fashion. This guy, he's avant-garde, without a doubt. um, and then as far as like the musculature goes, I painted it. And then I shaded it with like a darker sort of color in order to emphasize the muscles a bit. That was a technique that I was taught by Rob Guthrie, who painted my X-Force Psylocke statue and a few others that I'll be featuring. It's if you use like chalk pastels and just kind of put them lightly, kind of take some sandpaper, rub the chalk pastel a bit, and then take a brush and kind of brush up against the sandpaper a bit, and then brush that along the sort of the parts of the statue that you want to accentuate, and then just kind of feather that out. It creates like a nice shadowy effect. It's a very simple thing, doesn't require much, and it ends up being super effective and gives the statue more of a professional quality than it otherwise would. Given that an amateur is actually creating it and painting it, which was the case with me. So the face, I painted a couple of times. I'm a really bad painter when it comes to like small features, so I had to remove the paint a couple of times, and then what I wound up doing is I used a pen to to color in the eyes and kind of the sort of outline the eyes, and then I used a pencil to give him like a 5 o'clock shadow. It was the best I could do, given my limited talents. But beyond that, I think I did a good job with like the hair. The hair is like very layered and like nicely detailed, so I'm happy about that. I'm actually very happy with the statue overall. And most of the time, whenever I'm looking at my Dark Phoenix display, I'm very happy with the result. I think it looks good, and I think given that I'm complete amateur, like I did a decent job, and it looks fine, and I'm happy with it. And I hope you guys are happy that you're seeing it. You may be critical of it, but again, I'm an amateur. I'm not trying to claim anything. I'm just sharing with you something I did, and it's definitely like a stepping stone towards developing a skill better. But right now I don't have the time for that. I'd love to. Actually, the next thing I would love to sculpt would be so Gabriel Summers. My name's Gabriel actually, so I have this close connection to that character that was introduced in X-Men Deadly Genesis, the third Summers brother, who just became like this super incredible villain in the X-Men world. Even though people don't really care about him, I do. I like him a lot. He like became the head of the Shi'ar Empire later. He actually, spoiler alert, killed Corsair, his father. Nuts, totally nuts. And it would be great to sculpt him because I don't think anybody's going to sculpt him. So it would be nice to make a statue of him for my villains display. I think he's a strong enough villain that he deserves sort of that kind of attention. He killed Banshee, and that itself should make him sort of one of the core villains of the X-Men. He's just a bad guy, and he's done so many bad things, and like let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate his evil, by giving him all sorts of honors. Anyway, I think that might be the next project I end up doing. Well, I think that pretty much. Actually, no, that doesn't. I wanted to say one last thing, and I wanted to sort of make a plea to Bowen Designs. We need a Sebastian Shaw statue. Nobody has produced one. He's a central villain in the X-Men universe. He obviously was chosen to be the villain in X-Men First Class. That says a lot about, you know, what Marvel thinks about him and what like the filmmakers thought about his importance as a villain. So it makes perfect sense that he should be given at least some attention in you know, statue form. So I hope that at some point in the future, Bowen Designs will uh, be gracious enough to produce a Bowen Designs Sebastian Shaw statue. Obviously not in this particular form, but like in the same era with maybe kind of like a Victorian type of outfit. Um, that that sort of again captures like the style of the Hellfire Club and essentially who, you know, Sebastian Shaw is. He's got a really great power, like, you know, he's got the ability to absorb kinetic energy and then rechannel it. It's very similar to Bishop's power, and there, you know, it's like there's a lot of aspects of him that are super powerful, super significant, and would somehow, like, if they could be captured in statue form, I think would make a great statue. Of course, if it is actually produced, and I would put this one aside, and of course always treasure it as one of my own creations, and you know, put Sebastian Shaw where he belongs. Professionally produced Sebastian Shaw. I would put it in my Dark Phoenix display, and honor it forever with many many dustings. All right, folks. Well, that does it for yet another video of yet another of my many, many, too many, some might say, and some might say not enough statues. Um, this is the this is sort of like, you know, just it's an offering to you guys of a different sort, but it is still in line with, you know, what sort of the purpose of my blog is and my video channel, which is sort of to, you know, either feature statues that already exist or kind of, you know, focus on things that could exist. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the stuff I'm putting out. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more. I am doing a lot more. There will be a lot more coming. Believe me, I have no choice but to continue at this point. I'm like dug in. I'm going for it. So many many more videos to come. Many many more blog posts to come. And that's it. As always, X in the box because ain't nobody checking me. And I will catch you guys very soon. Take care, guys. Bye bye.